The IRS is sending up to $1,400 to 1 million Americans how to know if you qualify. And where this come from? The IRS service is sending up to $1,400 who qualified for COVID-19 stimulus checks in 2021 but didn't claim them. Keon, did you claim your stimulus check? Get that
I'm, I'm
1,400?
I'm about to go hit my statement and see what happened that year. Shoot.
In an unusual move, the IRS is proactively issuing payments to taxpayers who missed claiming the recovery rebate credit, a tax credit that allows people to receive the economic impact payments, also known as STEMI checks. They missed it in 2021, originally designed as a self-claimed credit. The agency is now ensuring eligible taxpayers receive the payments they are entitled to. That's interesting. IRS trying to get money. Uh, Looking at our internal data, we realized that 1 million taxpayers overlooked claiming this complex credit when they were actually eligible. IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel said in a press release, to minimize headaches and get this money to eligible taxpayers, we're making these payments automatic, meaning these people will not be required to go through the extensive process of filing an amended return. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. If you haven't filed a 2021 tax return yet, you can still qualify for the credit, but you must do so by April 15th, 2025, according to the IRS. Okay. Hey, did you STEMI checks? So still might be an opportunity to get STEMI checks. Um, you might want to check it out to see. Hey, my thing is if they giving it out and they saying it's out there for you and maybe you forgot to file, hey, this opportunity to get some of that money. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Man, I don't know. If I first saw the headline, I heard it, and I was like, I don't want none. It sounds like a trap, but this seems really rare. I'm curious on what initiated this, and I guess I'm curious on the follow through. I want to see how many people actually claim like, oh, I saw the money hit my account. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, you're right. So just bringing it to folks' attention, because I know a lot of this news coming out. So a part of it is us helping you stay up to speed with some of the things that's going on around money. So if you get a random check, that's what it's from. But I'm like you, Ken. I'm usually super skeptical when the government started giving money out. I'm like, okay, what is the catch? What is this about? What is this from for? Who did you take too much money from?
Right.
From taxes? What, just trying to understand. But yeah, that's where my mind go. But then also, just to be transparent, I've said it in previous podcasts, the government is not going to save you. I'll be honest, $1,400 or $1,500, if you need that to survive, because I had this thought even when they were making the payments back then. If you need $1,400, $1,500, you got a bigger issue. Because in my head, I was thinking $1,400, $1,500, that might be someone's rent without all the other ancillary bills that they have. So how is that helping you long term?
It's not. It's helping somebody else.
If you had a $1,400 shortfall, there's a bigger issue, whether it's an income issue,
Mm.
there's something off. Now, granted, I'm not saying don't take the money, but you still need to do a self assessment and say, okay, I'm like stressed out and I really, 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 really need this money. What is it about the way my life is set up right now where I don't have that type of money coming in on a consistent basis? And not just that amount of money, like more money because things are more expensive. And so if you're needing that, because the way they was marketing it at that time, it was almost like that was going to be the savior for Americans. And they was
Right.
toting it around like the best thing ever. I'm not saying that it wasn't bad. I'm like, all right, shoot, send the people some money. But at the
Right.
same time, understand that's tax dollars, but understand, does that really move the needle for you? I remember at the time, Dave Ramsey got a lot of flack. He was like, if you are dependent on that check, you broke. You broke. And so that was a bit more out there with a comment, but I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Right.
I don't disagree with that. I know a lot of times it's hard to hear the truth, but sometimes I know for me, the 40-year version, well, almost 40. Oh, wait, I ain't gonna claim that just yet. I mean, we're gonna go with 39 right now. Like, we're gonna stay in the 30s right now. The 39-year-old version talking to the 20-year-old, 21-year-old version, or 22-year-old version, I would want it real, real raw, and just a straight up honest truth on how the world works out here, and someone giving it to me straight so I can improve my finances. And heck, and maybe it's not the 39-year-old talking to the earlier version of myself. Hey, maybe you 35, maybe you 40, 45. Got to do more. Got to do more. They call it the be, do, have. You have to be more, be better, do more, which will cause you to do more, and then you will have more. And it's just really around the mindset, be, do, have. That's the whole concept of it. And maybe you need to be more than what you are today to improve your financial situation. Maybe you are making good money, but you check the check. There's stats out there that people that make six figures are check to check, and it's not a disrespect, it's not a judgment. It's just the realities. And I see, where I've worked, I've seen. You could just listen to conversation. I have an ear for check to check now. Even when they're not saying I'm check to check, I have an ear for it now. And hey, that's people. We all can do whatever we want to do. I don't speak unless I'm being asked. I'm not giving advice unless I'm being asked. And I never claim to be the guru. I just know what's working for me in my life. And so I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna stay on my journey. And when people ask, hey, what's working for you in that area? I see that. I share it with you. If it resonate, hey, maybe try to implement some of it. If it don't, throw it away and pretend like you never heard it. But all I can tell you is check to check is not the way, and $1,500, even at that time in my head, I was thinking that's not going to solve anything. What's your closing thoughts on that,
I
Keon?
don't know. When your account got $4.50 until payday, 1,500 sound like it do stretch, but it sounds like it. But I agree with you. But I'll say, okay, now in retrospect, we can look back on it as a little weird. I'm gonna trying to put my tinfoil hat on, but I'm trying to figure out what was really the purpose of that. And I just land on two things. One is it wasn't really meant for the people that they was giving the money to. It was meant for the people that it was meant for where the money was gonna eventually go. It was meant for the
Mm,
businesses to have. It wasn't really meant. They knew well, it's like giving candy to a baby in the sense, like, well, yeah, I know the baby's gonna eat it. I don't know if you've seen that marshmallow experiment where you leave a kid in the room with the marshmallow. They left us in the room with 1,500 marshmallows, and so, okay, keep the tinfoil hat on with me. Option number two. It also made me think. Now, was that like a government test run to see, like, we're not gonna call it welfare. We're gonna call it stimulus, and we're gonna see how receptive the public is to just getting
mm.
welfare. But let's give it another name because welfare got a connotation to it. But stimulus don't. Don't you want to be stimulated? And so, all right, let's take 10 for a hat off, take it off, throw it away. But that's just where my mind's at. But it both lead to what you're saying, though. The government's not going to save you. If it sounds like the government's doing something to save you, be skeptical and figure out a way to save yourself.